So a credit card that looks beyond your credit score to help you repair your credit, doesn't require a security deposit, and doesn't charge you any fees. Sounds a little too good to be true, right? Well, in this video, I'll be peeling back the curtain on the Petal Credit Card and giving you the full scoop on this company and why I personally will be avoiding them like the plague. Now, if you don't mind, before we dive in, smash that like button and let me know in the comments below what your favorite scent of marker is for the YouTube algorithm. So like I said, when it comes to Petal, they've got two credit cards and they kind of run it like Star Wars. Okay, they came out the number 2 first and then the number 1, but we're going to go in numerical order, start with number 1, move on to number 2, because that's just how my brain works. So Petal Card 1, Petal 1, whatever you want to call this thing, is mainly for rebuilding your credit, okay? And this was their addition that they made after they had Petal 2, which was kind of if you had no credit. So Petal 2 is like no credit. Petal 1 is like rebuilding your credit if you've got bad credit. And so naturally, Petal 1 is not quite as attractive as Petal 2. Now, when it comes to the details on Petal 1, we've got a $500 to $5,000 credit limit. We've got a 20 to 30% interest rate, which is relatively high, but that's kind of what you're going to expect for a credit card for someone who's trying to rebuild their credit. We're looking at no foreign transaction fee, which is honestly awesome. And then we're looking at a hard inquiry when you do apply for this card. So unlike some of the other cards that are for brand new people that are just getting into building their credit, this one is going to run a hard inquiry on your credit report. There's also some rewards earning potential, but we'll get into that a little bit later. With Petal 2, on the other hand, we're looking at a card for somebody with no credit, like I said, and your credit limit is going to range anywhere from $500 all the way up to $10,000 with this card. We're also looking at no fees whatsoever. So that's no annual fee, no foreign transaction fee, no late payment fee. But there is going to be interest on this card. Naturally, with most credit cards, they are going to charge you an interest rate. And the interest rate on this card is anywhere from 13% all the way up to 27%. So a little bit lower than the Petal 1. And there is also going to be a hard inquiry when you apply for this credit card. Now, in terms of the rewards, you're going to get 2% all the way up to 10% at specific merchants with both the Petal 1 and the Petal 2. This includes Gap, Old Navy, Casper, and a bunch of other places that you probably don't shop all that often. The Petal 2 is also going to give you 1% cash back on everything, all the way up to 1.5% on everything, depending on how many on-time payments you make. So you start off at 1% on everything, and then after 6 on-time payments, they bump you up to 1.25%. 6 more on-time payments, they bump you up to 1.5%. Now, if there's a month where you don't do any spending on the card, that's not going to count as an on-time payment. But these payments do not have to be consecutive and you don't have to pay off the balance in full, which is honestly something that I'm not super happy about. I really wish that they did require you to pay the balance in full to get this kind of boosted rewards earning, because if they did, that would really incentivize people not to carry a balance on their card. In this case, people might actually be incentivized to carry a balance as long as they're making that minimum payment. They feel like they're getting more rewards, even though they're paying more in interest every single month. But rewards are still rewards, and these are going to be stored in what's called your cashback wallet. So they're going to give you a monthly kind of deposit into this fake wallet, and you can then take these distributions as either statement credits, or you can take them as a check or a transfer to an external account once they reach $20. But there is no minimum threshold if you're just taking them as a statement credit. So that's all well and good, but let's get into the cons here, okay? Now you understand how the cards work. Let's talk about why I personally would not touch these things with a 10-foot pole. And it really just comes down to the company, okay? Petal as a company is not a company that I would ever want to do business with as it stands right now. Maybe over time it'll get better, but let's take a look at some of the antics that Petal has been up to over the last year or so. So the first kind of big thing that put Petal on my radar was this email blast they sent out to a bunch of their cardholders. And what the email basically said was, there has been a security breach on your account. We need you to email us the following documents. We need a selfie with you and your primary ID or your passport. We need your last 3 bank statements, pictures of them, and we also need your last W-2, a picture of that, all sent via email. And a lot of cardholders were confused because some of them had never used the card before. Some of them had just opened the account. Some of them had had the account for a while. And in some cases, there were no transactions on the account. And so they were just a little confused at what this suspicious activity even was. There was very little detail in this email. And a lot of people actually suspected that this email was fraudulent, that this was a scam, and that people were trying to steal your identity through these emails. They didn't know if it was actually coming from the company. Because, I mean, looking at these emails, they sound a little bit sketch. You know, there's this deadline in them of like, if you don't give us the information within 5 days, we're going to have to close your account. And like, it all just kind of seemed a little bit sketch. So after getting tweeted at a bunch of times, Petal put out this statement where they're like, this is a legit email and we actually do need this info from these people. But asking for it via email, probably not the most secure way to go about things. And really the lack of information they provided was kind of like a, are we like, what are we doing here, Petal? But that was late 2019. That was a while ago. That was what kind of put Petal on my radar. Okay, so flashing forward a little bit, let's talk about some of the situations that Petal has put their customers, their cardholders into over the span of 2020, because they've done some things that I'm not super jazzed about. So let's dive into those. All right, so quick update here. As of recording the video, Petal has been pulled off the BBB. If you try to find them on there, you will not find anything. So that just goes to show you how bad these reviews were. I wanted to include some screenshots here, but given that that is the current situation, we will not be able to do that. But there's still plenty of other bad reviews online that I'm sure you'll be able to find. But this just goes to show what kind of stuff Petal is up to. All right, so first example here, case number 1. We've got someone who applied for a Petal credit card, accidentally mistyped a number in their address. Okay, usually that's not a big deal for banks. You mistype a number, you call them up, they cancel the card they sent out, and then they send you a new one. Okay, usually takes like a week at most, but he called up Petal and he's like, hey, I accidentally did this. And they're like, okay, no problem. Even on their website, they have like an FAQ section where it says like, you made a typo, no problem, we'll take care of it. And so what he's told on the phone is that, okay, we'll take care of this, but we have to wait 30 days before we can actually change your address in the system. So the dude has to wait 30 days basically to get this credit card that he just applied for, which is like kind of a big deal, but in the grand scheme of things, not too bad. So he waits 30 days, he calls them back up and they say, oh, actually, we gotta wait a little bit longer. Okay, so then he keeps checking in with them. It's been like 2 months at this point, and he's really gotten no answers whatsoever from the Petal support team. So at this point, he's pretty disillusioned. He's like, you know what, I'm just gonna try to cancel the thing. So he calls them up. He's like, I want to cancel the thing. And they're like, yo, you gotta wait 2 weeks to do that, okay? So now he's just waiting 2 weeks, and then he calls back, and then they say they're gonna send him some forms. They don't even send the forms, and it takes this dude like over a month. After the 2 months where he couldn't get the card, takes him another whole month just to cancel this thing. So this is like a 3-month endeavor. Dude didn't even get a credit card. And this isn't just like a one-off example. There's a couple more that I want to dive into, but just know that if you search online for bad experiences with Petal, you're going to find a lot of them. And when you search for good experiences, you don't really come up with much. All right, so this one's honestly a little bit worse. So this next person noticed a fraudulent transaction on their account for multiple hundreds of dollars. And they called up Petal pretty much immediately and they're like, hey, I didn't make this transaction. Let's get this taken care of. Normal bank, you call them up, they see that, they get it taken care of within usually a matter of hours. I mean, this doesn't usually take very long, but what this person is told is that, okay, it's going to be a 90-day process to get that resolved for you. And they're like, what? Like 90 days to just get this thing off of my credit card statement? And so this person had to sit with this multiple hundreds of dollars of balance on their credit card for over 3 months. And at the end of 90 days, of course, they push back the deadline even further, like, oh, we have to do other stuff and other stuff and other stuff. And so this person's sitting with this huge charge on their credit card for like 3 to 4 months. And that's like lowering their credit score because their utilization has gone higher and they're just getting no resolution whatsoever from Petal. And they just continue to make excuses and excuses and excuses until this person actually made a complaint on the Better Business Bureau. And then Petal was like, oh, shoot, I guess we actually have to take care of this now. And so then they went in and made it right. So, I mean, I could go on and on for hours about the amount of complaints that I found about Petal in honestly not that much time. But kind of the recurring themes are that it's really hard to get a hold of Petal support. Once you do get a hold of them, they tend to pass you around like a football. And their go-to move is to just punt things down the line 30 to 90 days. And then if you try to call back before the 30 to 90 day period is up, they're just like, oh, actually it hasn't been exactly 30 days yet. So call us back in like 5 more days. So that's kind of their move. Petal support in general, I found is absolutely terrible. And I have no interest whatsoever in putting myself through that, nor do I want you guys to put yourselves through any of the terrible things that I've heard and the terrible experiences that I've seen about what Petal support typically looks like. So in closing here, I mean, I can really think of no situation in which I would recommend someone get one of these cards. Putting up with the total BS from their support team and just from the company as a whole doesn't seem worth your time. I mean, there's so many better options out there for you that I've covered on this channel in terms of credit cards for building or rebuilding credit that you have no reason to mess with Petal. I mean, it's just not worth your time. They're going to put you through the ringer and you're really going to hate the experience. So, I mean, the example that I like to make here is like, if Robinhood was a credit card company, like this is it. Like Petal is it. I mean, they're super tailored towards like the new generation of people who are trying to build credit, and they're all like, their app is all shiny and they've got all these cool little like interface things. But like in the grand scheme of things, man, like they don't have any infrastructure in terms of support. And it's honestly just a company that you do not want to be doing business with. So personally, I'm going to stay far away from Petal. It's up to you to make your decision on that. But if you want more info on them, I check out their Better Business Bureau page. It's pretty revealing. There's plenty of complaints over there to give you some context for what this company is like and what dealing with them is typically like. But go forth, make your own decisions, and that is totally up to you. So the next thing you should do is click the subscribe button down below and then check out this video over here where I dive deep into the Chime Credit Builder card, which is tailored at a very similar audience, but in general, it's got a lot more going for it than the Petal Credit Card. So I would definitely recommend checking that out, and I'll see you over there.